Roll the camera. Okay.
Scene one, take one. Scene one, take two.
Kia ora, I'm Harry.
And I'm James. Welcome to Zoo's News, the show that keeps you up to date with what's what and who's who at Wellington Zoo. Today on the show we have an interview with the lucky keepers of the kiwi and update you on the techniques used to keep the animals entertained. But first up,
2 of Wellington Zoo's African serval cats have been given a new way to cool off from the heat of summer. Keepers of Shanghai and Tooned have come up with a special treat. And while you may not think bloodskulls, muscles and tricksicles ice blocks sound tasty, the 2 cats love them. The icy treats are frozen water and blood with a whole mouse or chick on the inside. On a hot, windless Wellington day, the ice blocks do a great job of cooling them down. Although the cats are African, they were born and hand-raised in Wellington, so 27 degrees is about as hot as they've ever experienced. Lucky visitors of the zoo on hot days get to see the cats up close and personal as they dine on their ice blocks and take a quick swim in the paddling pool while fishing out sardines placed there by the keepers. The servals are not the only ones to get a masked treat. The zoo's otters and meerkats also get to indulge in them too. Lucky them! Here's our on-the-spot reporter live from the serval enclosure with more on these tasty treats and other foods the animals eat.
Hello, I'm Rebecca and here we have Ashlyn. Hi Ashlyn, thanks for joining us today. So, how high can these animals jump? Well, these animals can jump 3 meters high and that is very high for their size. They're about that high, so it's very high for their size. Tell me about why you work with severals. Well, these are amazing animals. They listen to my every command and follow me all around the place. What do you do with the several? What do these several cats eat? Well, they mostly eat meat and they eat 3 times a day. Thanks, Ashlyn. And that's all from me. Now back to James and Harriet in the studio.
An interesting interview. Thanks, Rebecca. And now for an animal from closer to home. The kiwi at Wellington Zoo are a favourite of the New Zealand public. We here at Zoo's News have been doing a bit of research on this flightless bird, and we are amazed by how many mammal-like features this bird has. For example, its feathers are a lot more like hair than feathers, and what about those cat-like whiskers on its face? The kiwi has an amazing sense of smell because it's the only bird in the world with nostrils at the very tip of its beak. These help kiwis sniff out foods such as grubs that live on the bush floor. That's not very bird-like, is it? And what about its bones? The kiwi skeleton is much heavier than other birds as it does not need to be light for flying. So instead of air sacs in its bones, it contains marrow, just like humans. This also makes their legs powerful for all that digging and kicking enemies. Kung Fu Kiwi. We now cross over to our on-the-spot reporter Kristen, who has more on their national treasure, live from Wellington Zoo's Kiwi enclosure.
Thanks, Rebecca and Ashlyn. I'm Kristen, and joining me is Ethan.
Hello, Kristen.
Today we are talking about the kiwi. How big is a kiwi?
A kiwi is 17 centimeters tall.
How many eggs do they lay?
5 eggs a year.
Why do a kiwi has a long beak?
Because, Kristen, when the kiwi puts its beak down into the ground, it can snatch its prey.
Thanks, Ethan. Now that's all from us. Going back to the studio.
Thanks, Kristen. And now for a good look into daily lives at the zoo. Animals in a zoo need to live in an environment as close to their natural home as possible. They also need to use all of their natural instincts on a daily basis. To make sure the animals keep their natural habitats, the staff at Wellington Zoo spend a lot of time inventing toys and activities for the animals. Someday, the zoo staff create problems for the animals to solve using their natural hunting and foraging skills. For example, they hide meat inside barrels or in a tire hanging up a tree for the animal to find. This means the animal has to hunt out the food and figure out how to get to it. Animals in the wild also don't have a set mealtime. They can't just go to the kitchen and make a sandwich. In the wild, they need to find their own food, and some days, if they have not found any, they just have to go hungry. Activities like finding hidden food means zoo animals have to feed at different times of day, just like in the wild. Let's cross to our on-the-spot reporter who has more on the Wellington Zoo's enrichment programs. Over to you, Ashlyn.
Thanks, Kristen. I'm Ashlyn, and joining me is Rebecca. Why do you need an enrichment program? So that animals don't get bored, they can explore and learn new things. Can you tell me about the enrichment toy? In the lion's den, we put food in a bag. The lions play to get the food out. What animals are the most curious? The chimpanzees will play with their toys for ages until they have all the food. Thanks, Rebecca. Now back to you and James and Harriet with our Endangered Earth update.
Kia ora. Welcome to Endangered Earth, where we spotlight some animals out there that are really struggling for survival. Our first animal this week is red panda of Australasia. This is a small mammal, is bigger than a cat and lives on a diet of bamboo. There are just 2,500 adult red pandas left because humans are destroying their environment. Now we cross to Africa, where the chimpanzee is also suffering from their homes being destroyed by humans. They are also hunted and also popular as pets. Right now there are only 100,000 to 200,000 left in the wild, and even though they are very human-like, they won't copy with your pressures them for along. Next we go over to the Sanitarium tiger. Is the smallest tiger out of the 5 subspecies of the tiger. They are considered to be critically endangered. There are fewer than 400 remaining in the wild due to humans using them for trading medications and destroying their environment. And now closer to home, the tuatara has been on the endangered list since 1895. Like many New Zealand natives, it has been threatened by introduced mammals such as rats. Remember, you can help New Zealand natives by keeping your cats indoors at night and keeping your dog on a lead when out walking. All endangered animals we looked at today's show are at Wellington Zoo, where they are doing their best to help these animals live on. That's all from me. Catch me next time when we review the Endangered Earth. Back to you at the desk, Harriet and James.
Thank you, Paige. We will do our best to help those poor endangered animals. Well, folks, that's all from us too.
We hope you've enjoyed the show and we wish you all a pleasant evening. Thank you all for watching and we'll see you next time. From the whole team at Zoo's News,
goodbye, inohora.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2. Take 2.